Most of our area is under a level 2 storm risk for today's WRAL Weather Alert Day. What our new hourly high-res models show about when the storm threat moves out.
What we're learning about an ongoing death investigation in Raleigh involving this private charter bus and a mechanic.
A mother searches for closure in the death of her 23-year-old son who was killed 3 years ago here on Teal Court.
By the time EMS entered the room, my son had died in my arms.
We've asked police where they are in the investigation.
And right now at 7, we start with a live look at an active radar. You can see a lot of lightning associated with these storms and severe thunderstorm warnings going on right now. Plenty of places also seeing hail. Take a look at this site in Ayden. That's in Pitt County. Look at all that hail. That is not something we normally see.
No, thank you for being with us as we watch this weather roll in. I'm Dan Haggerty.
And I'm Deborah Morgan. We have live team coverage of this severe weather risk from the WRAL Storm Tracker to the Live Center.
First, though, meteorologist Kat Campbell going to get us up to speed as this severe weather is starting to affect a lot of areas around us here, Kat.
And there's the severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 7:30 for the northeastern part of our viewing area. We'll zero in on that in just a moment, but I wanted to mention the general movement of these storms is to the south and east, so we really haven't seen much in the triangle. We'll watch to see if these isolated showers hold together in the northern part of our viewing area because they would be on a trajectory toward the triangle, but most models are showing them falling apart. So let's focus in on the severe storms right now. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect. The worst part of the storm in Halifax and Edgecombe County now, damaging wind gusts as well as some quarter-size hail possible. And we are seeing some ground truth to the quarter-size hail. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth will come up in the storm tracker here in just a minute, and she did report that she saw some hail as she drove through that storm. We are still seeing some evidence of hail showing up on our severe weather threats. It was likely some larger hail as it moved through the infield area just northeast of Rocky Mount, though still a signature for some small hail falling. And when you look at this storm in 3D, you can see just how tall the storm is. At times it's been over 40,000 feet tall, and that's what allows all those hailstones to go very high up in the atmosphere and to continue to get larger. Looking at our storm track for the severe storm, if it holds together and maintains its speed, it should be in Austin Pines around 7:06, Hope Lodge at 7:06 as well. We'll keep an eye on things and have a radar update coming up shortly.
Boy, that 3D look is so cool.
Such a strong storm, higher than cruising altitude for an airplane.
That is something. Thanks, Kat.
And Kat mentioned Amy out on the road, so let's continue our team coverage now. Amy Wilmoth live for us on the WRAL Storm Tracker. Amy, give us an idea of what you're seeing now.
Things have settled down a little bit. I'm on I-95 just to the north and east of Nashville. Just a short time ago, the hail was coming down so hard. It was pea-sized for the most part, but we did have a few nickel-sized hail pieces mixing in. Right now, things are much better on the roads. Traffic is moving. When that hail moved through and that heavy rain, traffic was at a complete crawl and almost standstill at times because you could barely see in front of you. Also want to note that we also had a very strong wind gust. We have a weather station on the storm tracker, and just about 15 minutes ago, we clocked a 53-mile-per-hour wind gust. So we have hail and some strong winds with these storms as they continue to move to the south and east. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Amy. Mark?
Been receiving some viewer videos and photos all afternoon and into the 7 o'clock hour now, showing what it looks like outside. This is some video of some hail. You see it bouncing off the roof line right there. This is from Wilson, but this is not the most impressive piece of video we've seen. You saw it at the top of the newscast. We can show you now down to Ayden, Pitt County. Look at that. I mean, it almost looks like snow at first glance, but when you start seeing it, really is starting to accumulate, and then you mix it in with the rain. You can see how it is just rushing off that driveway right there. Certainly makes you cringe when you see your car outside not covered in one of these hailstorms. We'll certainly keep you updated as we're seeing different pockets of storms move through our viewing area this evening.
Just not sure I've ever seen anything like that before. Thank you, Mark. Make sure you have the WRAL weather app so you can keep an eye on this threat until it moves out. It's free to download.
We've been following some breaking news for you in Raleigh, an active scene at this hour. This is on Kirkland Road. We know at least one person is dead after a charter bus accident. WRAL's Aaron Thomas is live there trying to figure out exactly what happened during all of this. Aaron, what have you been able to find out tonight?
So Dan, we're talking about an hours-long investigation at this point. Raleigh police are focusing a lot of their attention here between this private charter bus as well as this tow truck. We've even seen a forensics team that is on scene currently taking pictures of the scene. Just to catch up to speed, we do know that police have been out here since before 5 o'clock this afternoon. I am told by some people on scene that there was likely a person, a mechanic of some sort, that was working with these two vehicles involved, that private bus and the tow truck, and that's when the bus struck him. We are still trying to firm up information from Raleigh police at this point. And at this very hour, I see employees with East Coast Towing Company. I am told that that victim was an employee of that company, and I also reached out to them to get a little bit more details about this victim involved. And also we do know that there's a body that's also on scene covered with a white sheet. That's the latest that we can provide to you, and of course we'll have more updates as they become available. Dan?
Man, feel for that person's family and those co-workers, of course, tonight. Aaron, with the update for us in Raleigh. Thanks.
Police are searching for multiple people accused of firing at each other during a shootout in a Lumberton neighborhood while children were playing baseball less than a block away. Pictures show the suspects running through the area on North Roland Avenue with long guns. At the scene, officers found two vehicles riddled with bullets and left abandoned in the road. Investigators say people in a blue Chevy Malibu and a gray Cadillac ATS were shooting at each other while driving through the neighborhood. No one was hurt, but bullets did hit homes nearby.
Wow, unbelievable footage there. So Mother's Day is Sunday, of course, and it is a painful reminder for a Fayetteville mother who lost her son 3 years ago during a deadly home invasion. WRAL Fayetteville reporter Gilbert Bays spoke with the mother who was in the home with her son when he was shot to death. It's a story you'll only see right here on WRAL.
Well, I spoke with the mother of Denzel Dixon this morning, and you could still hear the hurt in her heart from the murder that took place on this court 3 years ago. Now that mother is searching for closure. This is how Stephanie Hart wants to remember her son. She says 23-year-old Denzel Dixon was a young father whose 6-year-old son is now 8 years old. And what do you tell him about where his father is?
I tell him Denzel is in heaven. He's with our Father.
But that's the end of the story. Let me take you back to the beginning. It was Sunday, July 12, 2020. Stephanie Hart was inside her son's apartment on Teal Court in Fayetteville when she answered a knock at the door around 5 in the afternoon.
And when I opened the door, they rushed in. Shooting started inside the home. It was just a lot of chaos.
Hart says she was attacked and her son helped fight off her attacker. She says he was followed into a back room and shot. She tried to perform CPR to save her son's life.
By the time EMS entered the room, my son had died in my arms.
Hart says she hasn't heard anything recently about the investigation into her son's death, so I reached out to Fayetteville police. They told me this is a cold case, but an ongoing investigation. While police continue their search for a suspect, a mother clings to her son's memory just days before Mother's Day.
He's always been that guy that treated everybody with respect. People liked him.
So at this point, no charges have been filed. Fayetteville police asking anyone who knows what happened 3 years ago here on Teal Court to give them a call. In Fayetteville, Gilbert Bays, WRAL News.
And there is a reward. Police say anyone giving information, even anonymously through this case, through Crime Stoppers, we're told a $2,000 reward is there for information leading to an arrest.
Governor Roy Cooper is putting pressure on a handful of Republican lawmakers to flip their vote on a bill that puts new restrictions on abortion. Today, the governor hosted the first in a series of discussions with doctors and abortion rights advocates in Mecklenburg County. That's home to two state House members who previously said they would not support changes to the state's abortion law, but then voted for the new restrictions. One of them is former Democrat Tricia Cotham, who switched parties earlier this year, giving Republicans a supermajority to override the governor's veto.
There is information in here that even the doctors don't understand what it means. That's a problem. And you're going to put that into law with something that is so emotional that it's going to be very difficult to undo? Let's stop this. North Carolina is too good for this.
The governor says he will veto the abortion bill on Saturday.
More than 100 people are losing their jobs in Durham. California-based Shutterfly announced it's closing its Durham operation, formerly Spoonflower. 108 people will be laid off in the process. The shutdown is set for December 31st of this year. A photo of the company's most recent round of layoffs. It announced 400 layoffs earlier this year. The announcement comes 1 week after Shutterfly named a new CEO.
A new exhibit is showcasing the lost history of the first school teachers in North Carolina's first African-American community. A look at Angels at the Blackboard and hear from the exhibit curator coming up. Plus, more people are visiting North Carolina than ever before. New tourism economy numbers, and it's in the billions of dollars coming up. And as we head to this break, it is raining once again at Lake Gaston, often a place where people are boating, but not this evening. We'll have a live look at the radar and where the storms are heading next coming up in just a few minutes. For the third straight year, United Way of the Greater Triangle and Band Together are partnering to raise money for local nonprofits. The two organizations have raised nearly $2 million to support affordable housing. Their next big event is this year, October 7th, when musicians Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit play the Red Hat Amphitheater. Leading up to that, though, they are hosting different events to raise awareness, including one tomorrow. Joining us now live to talk about this event is Dolores Bailey, Executive Director of Empowerment, Inc. Dolores, you are among the speakers for the event tomorrow. Talk to us about access to affordable housing. How is your organization helping do that?
Thank you, Deborah. So Empowerment is located in Orange County. Orange County happens to be one of the richest counties in North Carolina and also one of the poorest counties. The gap between those two is amazing. And the housing lack, the crisis in housing is even worse than you can imagine. One of the things that Empowerment Incorporated does is we provide affordable housing for low to moderately income people. The monies that we help raise and Band Together and United Way help us put people in homes. We're talking about people who work every day, get up every day just like you and I do. You're passing them on the streets, the assistant school teachers, the people that bag your groceries that cannot afford to live in the county where they work. This kind of dollars, the money that we will raise together with United Way and Band Together, will help us build apartments. And that's what you see behind me, the Peach Apartments, which Empowerment will be building and has benefited from the Band Together United Way collaboration.
That's really amazing. And this isn't the first time you've partnered with Band Together and the United Way. How has your organization benefited from this partnership? You just talked about these new apartments that you're building. Give us a sense of how you're changing lives.
Absolutely. The reason we're building this set of apartments is because a young man came to us who had worked for the university for 5 years, and he had worked for the university for 9 years and could not afford to live in Chapel Hill. What we decided was to help change people's lives, essential workers like that, we needed to build the inventory for people like that. So the money from Band Together last year helped us support our staff because we're a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. We absolutely need that money to help pay for the bills that come through the door. We have to have a contractor and an architect, all of that stuff that takes to build this affordable housing. So that's what the spotlight on affordable housing has done. And that's what Band Together and United Way are doing, is just letting people know there is a need, we need help.
Well, you have a lofty goal to raise $1 million. We wish you the best of luck to do that. Thank you, Dolores Bailey of Empowerment. We really appreciate your time tonight. And if you would like to join in on the conversation or contribute to the cause, join Dolores and others tomorrow afternoon at Gateway Plaza in Raleigh with a social gathering at Mordecai Brewing Company at 5:30. Tickets to the October concert are still available.
As the first African-American community in the country, the Edgecombe County town of Princeville is brimming with history. But one woman who grew up there realized not much is known about the people who helped educate the town in the wake of slavery. WRAL's Keenan Willard shows us how a new exhibit, years in the making, is changing that.
In a gallery at ECU's Joyner Library, names and faces line the walls. It's a timeline of trailblazers whose efforts had been lost to history.
What I call the angels at the blackboard, because these are the people that brought literacy to Princeville.
Sandra Stanley is a proud daughter of Princeville. While researching the history of her high school for a reunion, she decided to try the same for her elementary, Princeville School, and couldn't find anything at all.
So that's when I realized that a big chunk of our history for that school had been lost.
In 2021, the retired nurse became a self-taught historian, combing through libraries, Ancestry.com, and even graveyards, trying to track down the men and women who taught the first free people in Princeville.
At the time the school was established, it was only 20 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. So literacy was a huge problem. So these angels here came in and changed the world for them.
After nearly 2 years of work, this week, Stanley's project finally opened to the public. She was able to find every principal who served the school from 1883 to the 1960s, as well as more than 40 teachers. Stanley even found school documents dating back to the 1940s. Life in Princeville hasn't been easy. A low-lying area, the town is severely flooded multiple times through the decades. Stanley says she's proud to honor those who helped her community build its spirit of resilience.
And I'm hoping that wherever they are, they're pleased that we're representing them this way.
Keenan Willard, WRAL News.
So if they get a lot of support and a lot of visitors, the Angels at the Blackboard exhibit will be open on ECU's campus through July 15th. Go check it out.
Well, now to some pretty pictures. The WRAL Storm Tracker captured a beautiful rainbow that appeared right during the storms in eastern Wake County tonight. Always looking for that glimmer of hope, even though it is really storming out there. And some of us could still see some storms tonight.
I'd rather see the rainbow than the hail that we were seeing in some parts earlier. Kat Campbell keeping an eye on all of it for us, as some people are still seeing some downpours.
Yes, they are. The Storm Tracker has been hard at work. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth was in there getting the rainbow shots and lots of hail as well. She's been in a couple of hail cores this afternoon. The focus right now still in the northeastern part of our viewing area, and this has really been the zone today where we've seen most of these storms, and that's why we stressed yesterday and the day before this wouldn't be a widespread threat, but those that see the storms, they are intense, and we're still tracking storms with a lot of lightning. We're going to keep an eye on some of these stray showers that have popped up to the northwest because they are being steered to the southeast toward the triangle potentially, but they may fall apart before they get here. At this point, it's not looking like a high likelihood that we would see anything like this around the triangle. Let's focus in on the severe weather though until 7:30. That's when we have our severe thunderstorm warning. The most intense part of the storm right now moving through eastern Edgecombe County, passing through Tarboro. We've also seen the strongest part of the storm just to the north in Scotland Neck with a ton of lightning there. These are very loud storms. Hail is still our greatest concern, especially in this zone between Tarboro and Pine Tops. That's where we have quarter size hail possible. This could be up to about 1 inch in diameter. And of course, these severe storms have already produced hail today. Futurecast doing a good job with the timing of this complex of thunderstorms that we'll continue to watch move to the south and east. Those spotty showers that I showed you before, not really holding together on Futurecast. We could see a few areas of rain a bit later on this evening and tonight pass through, but it's much less likely that those would be as strong as the storms that we've seen during the afternoon and evening. We typically lose a lot of the energy in the atmosphere once the sun sets. Our cold front will be passing through as well, and that should help to put an end to the rain before most of us head to bed tonight. Temperatures still sitting in the mid-80s in the Triangle, 87 in Fayetteville, down from 91 in Fayetteville this afternoon. But it's 66 in South Hill, 68 in Rocky Mount, where they've been cooled off by some of the rain and storms. The warmth will be backing off behind this system. A flow out of the northeast due to the clockwise flow around this high pressure. That's going to bring in much drier air and some cooler air, not terribly cooler. It's not going to be chilly outside. It's just going to be very comfortable. 77, mostly sunny, low humidity, beautiful weather expected. We've got some lows in the 50s coming up, and then temperatures are going right back up. As we get into the weekend, it's really feeling like summer again. Hopefully all the moms out there are a fan of the summertime heat. As we get into Sunday and early next week, we will have the chance for some of these scattered storms return, and we'll keep an eye on whether or not those could be severe.
It's going to be special for Mom regardless of the weather. Yeah, thank you, Kat.
Raleigh's oldest movie theater is making a comeback when you can check out shows in the iconic Rialto Theater again. Coming up.
Tourists are flocking to North Carolina, and we are all seeing the benefit.
It's been busy here. According to the governor's office, the state's tourism economy hit its highest level ever in 2022. Travelers bringing in more than $33 billion to the state and local economies. That's a lot. The previous record was set in 2019, prior to the pandemic, obviously. The news comes during National Travel and Tourism Week, which runs through Saturday. Good news during a week like that.
Oh, yeah.
An old movies and music venue is preparing to reopen under some new ownership.
Yeah, after many years, the previous owner, Bill Peoples, retired from the business. The new owner is Raleigh native Hayes Permar. He plans to keep the same spirit with classic films and live music. Permar says that he wants to bring it back to its heydays in the late 80s and 90s. An opening date has not been announced, but they expect it to open sometime this summer.
Exciting.
Yeah. Well, North Carolina Science Center is welcoming 2 new babies to their family.
Let's meet them. The Greensboro Science Center posted these pictures of the pair of baby Bentlets born on May 5th. Their names are Susan and Minoy. They are the first Bentlets, also known as Bearcats, to be born at the Greensboro Science Center. They are cute. They are native to the rainforests in South and Southeast Asia. The public will have to wait a little bit longer to see them up close, but once they do become available for public viewing, I'm sure they'll let us know, and we'll let you know.
I've never heard of a Bentlet before.
No.
I've got to go and see them in person.
I like them.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being with us tonight here on WRAL News.
Our next newscast is at 10 on Fox 50 and at 11 on WRAL. We're going to keep following this weather throughout the evening, so stay with us for that. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you later.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.